My name is Kelly Russell. The purpose of this class was to have more effective communication in the workplace. This is for week number 8 assignment for GE 330, Professor Nez's class, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk about this today. So effective communication in the workplace. I work in a very large campus. We are a CCRC, and we have healthcare areas as well as an independent area for our residents. We're a very big organization. The only way that we have found to be successful is through good communication. So we have been able to achieve this through several different ways. We have over 600 residents and 300 employees on our campus. So we have a TV channel that we utilize for different types of in-services for the residents, announcements. We have SurveyMonkey if we need feedback from them in regards to how they think things are going on campus, and that has been very successful for us. We have bulletins posted all over the campus to inform the staff and the residents of different happenings and goings on, of things that they can expect to see. We have a quarterly newsletter called The Villager that we put a lot of time and effort into so that people can get a heads up as to what is going on, what they can expect to happen. We post several things in the newspaper, and just very large organization and very involved within our community. The healthcare areas are a little bit different, and the way that we try to identify with our staff is through written in-service education as needed. If we identify something that we need to talk about, we go ahead and do an in-service and make sure that everyone is participating in that. We do at least an in-service on a monthly basis. We try to meet with our staff in person to discuss what's going on, to make sure that they're comfortable with how things are going. We meet as a department head, department heads meet at least every morning. We call it a stand-up meeting. We discuss, how things are going in the healthcare areas as well as the independent areas. We discuss, what is going on within the upcoming weeks, days, even as far as up into the year, so that everyone is informed as to what they can expect. We all correspond with emails. A good email is really hard to beat. They're also time-stamped, so it's a very good way for us to communicate with one another, because through emails, again, you're able to identify what your needs are, what you're trying to express to someone, and typically, you can have that record if you ever need to refer back to it. So that is very effective for us as well. In my job as a director of nursing, I submit a weekly synopsis as to the acuity and what's going on with the patients, so that all of the upper management is aware of what's going on. I do that every week. I let them know about the patient care, any events, what we can expect as far as overtime, different needs that we may have, staffing needs, absences, anything that I think my boss or his boss may be interested in needing to know. We meet monthly as a department team. All of the department managers meet. We call it a monthly department head retreat, and we come up with brainstorming ideas for how we can make things better here at Carolina Village, on our campus, and within the community. We work on overall quality assurance and try to find ways that we can make things more lucrative, more productive, and more satisfying for our patients and staff. All of the nurse managers meet weekly. We call it a weekly at-risk meeting, and we discuss in the healthcare areas all of the residents that we may have who have issues going on, if they're having excess weight loss, if they have wounds, if they're having behaviors or depression or anything that we feel like could be an adverse medical risk for their health. We meet and discuss that as well. If we have people who get injured, we do incident reports. Those are done all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter what happens. If we have staff that are injured, we do incident reports so that we have a record of that, to make sure that we're identifying ways to make things better for everyone else. And then as we get those reports, and we meet once a month, we also have a safety meeting to discuss the results and how we can do things better for the next few months and years in upcoming time. Communication is very important. Good communication prevents accidents. you don't know where your identifiable problems are unless you're able to discuss them, figure out what you could have done differently, bring it to other department heads so that they are aware of what's going on to make things better for other people. We work well with other providers. It's important that we have a good ongoing relationship with our local hospice group, with our palliative care groups, because they come in and provide supportive services for our patients and our staff for bereavement or any issues that may be going on. We work with community home health agencies. As a healthcare facility, we discharge people back into the community, so it's very important that we have a very strong ongoing relationship with the home health agencies as well as the hospitals and the discharge planners. We go to a transitions meeting to improve communication between the hospitals as well as our facility so that we can make sure that we're facilitating the best possible outcomes for our patients when they go home. We work with different outpatient therapies, not just home health agencies. So if someone goes home and they want private in-home outpatient therapy, we provide that as well and help meet the needs for our patients. If our residents ask for private care providers, we have a list of people that we use, and we're always communicating with them as well to make sure that the best possible outcomes are being objected, that we're getting the best possible outcomes. One of the biggest barriers that we have, not just identifying issues that we can talk about with our staff, but workplace communication is extremely important to ensure that families and loved ones know what is going on with their residents. We have to make sure we have a very good ongoing communication process with family members, that they know what's going on, they know about medication changes, they know about accidents or illnesses or fevers or any other potential problem for their loved ones. So that open communication is extremely important. When our patients come in, we try to have a care plan meeting as an interdepartmental team, at least within the first 2 weeks of their admission, and then at least quarterly or as needed. If they request a meeting with our staff, we always accommodate them to make sure that everything that they need is being met, all of the objectives that they are asking for. We ensure that our staff are aware of any regulatory changes. Working in healthcare, the only other industry that is more regulated than nursing homes is a nuclear power plant. So having said that, we have hundreds of regulations that we have to abide by, and they change frequently. So making sure that our staff are aware of those changes is imperative to ensuring the success of this organization. And sometimes that can be challenging because, the changes come so quickly. We have to be really on top of our game to make sure that our staff are aware of those changes. We have to make sure that our staff and the residents are aware of any legislative changes. Working for a CCRC, depending on who is in office, can be extremely important in regards to what our residents can expect with their health care, with the way they're taxed, with the fact that we're a non-for-profit organization. Any kind of legislative changes can affect that as well as their income. So that is extremely important to us, and we try to keep up with that and make sure that everyone is aware of those changes. Effective communication with the residents and the staff. If you're effectively communicating, then you're definitely going to have satisfaction. If your residents are happy, your staff are happy. If your staff are, happy and able to do their jobs well and effectively, and they feel like they're being productive, they feel like they're part of the team, and they feel like their voices are heard, they're going to take better care of the patient. And ultimately, the care of the patient is what we're looking for. Having said that, if the residents are well cared for, then our survey processes for our annual recertifications go better. The staff, if they know what the survey teams are looking for, they're less likely to make mistakes, they're more comfortable, they're going to do what they need to do, they're not going to be fearful, they're going to realize that they're here to make suggestions, the ways that we can improve things, and the only way that we are able to convey that to our staff is by definitely making them aware and effectively communicating with them. And ultimately, good communication is the most important thing to identify not only what you're doing well, but to definitely identify what you're doing wrong so that you can fix it. At the end of the day, we're only as good as the care that we give, and any good manager will tell you they're only as good as the information they're giving their staff and how well their staff is receiving that information and using it to the betterment of the facility. So having said that, Professor Nez, I hope that this has been a good 10 minutes that I've been able to convey how our facility at Carolina Village effectively uses communication for the betterment of what we're doing here. And I appreciate your class, and I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you, sir.